Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another video. And I am sure by now you've all heard of this game, Cuphead. Yeah, it's hard! Some people are even going as far to say it's the Dark Souls of 2D shooters, which I completely understand. Because Cuphead has some of the most hardest bosses I've ever faced in just gaming in general. So, because of this, I've made a top 5 list of the hardest bosses that will make you want to literally shit your pants. So, let's get straight into it. So starting this list off, we have number 5, Ribby and Croaks. Now, this boss fight isn't actually too challenging, but it's just the fact that you begin this boss. This is like the first challenging boss you encounter in the beginning of Cuphead, because the first 2 or 3 bosses aren't too challenging, and then you just get this boss, which steps it up a bit. But basically, the main reason I put this in number 5 is just the amount of challenge that it creates that most players aren't used to. For example, like they're blowing wind back and you're trying to attack at the same time. And don't even get me started on the final form. This is probably the main hard spot. So he turns into a slot machine. But when it gets to this point, it just goes sideways. So with that, if you see it spinning on the slot machine, you have a chance of it to land on the devil, which, as you see right here, will make like these hard to explain. These spikes that either shoot flames downwards or upwards, and you just have to duck in under them. Or you can either get this one, which is a frog's. It'll basically just send out a bunch of like platforms you have to try and jump and balance on. There is also one more, which is like the tiger, I think. And the tiger is basically the same, but it'll shoot a ball out that you just have to jump in between. But yeah, that's basically Ribby and Croaks for the first at number 5. So after Ribby and Croaks, we have got Hilda Big. Now, Hilda Big is the first, aeroplane level, if you could state it. And, it's a pretty challenging way to get you started. So basically, I'm pretty sure this has 4 different phases, all completely different. But what makes this level so hard is the final phase. Now, the final phase is completely stupid and takes so long to do. You basically need to luck out of where the UFO, beams actually land. And just try to luck out and make sure they don't land on you. But this is a pretty challenging boss fight, and this boss comes 4th on my list of top 5 hardest bosses in Cuphead. On to the next boss. So in our number 3 slot, we have Beppy the Clown. Now, Beppy the Clown is probably the first boss you'll verse in Isle 2, which is basically World 2, and he is one of the hardest. The thing that makes him most hard, I personally feel, is just the amount of things he has going on the screen at once. Makes it really hard to focus. And I think this is personally one of the first challenging bosses so far in the game that really tests your limits. And especially the final phase. Just those guys that throw balls at you, whatever they do, they just really throw you off. But yeah, that's Beppy the Clown coming in at number 3. So coming in at number 2, we have Grim Matchsticks. Now, oh, this boss took me a while, and I mean like an hour while. It's probably one of the hardest bosses in this game, but I couldn't really decide between number 1 and number 2, so he comes in at number 2. Now, the main thing I think that makes this boss annoying is there's just lots of tedious things happening that really throw you off. Like, for example, you have the fireballs that keep on jumping at you, trying to kill you. You also have in phase 4, when the dragons shoot out a fireball, if you end up hitting it, for some reason, they'll split into 4, which also messes you up. And then, I don't really get it. He has a flamethrower face, but he's a dragon. Surely he should be able to just blow fire. But, never mind that. And there is our number 2 slot for this list. So the final boss and the hardest in Cuphead, I personally feel, on my list is the devil. Now, most people are probably going to scoff at this because they don't think the devil's very hard. But recording these actual bosses, they took me 1 to 2 attempts. Max, probably. This boss took me at least 10 attempts just to actually get a game clip of. He is actually really challenging, and you probably don't realize it because by this point you've played so much Cuphead that you just become a god at it. But if you played this like when you were trying to learn how to play Cuphead, it is really challenging. Just yet again, the amount of things going on the screen at once is just absurd. Like, he has tons of minions trying to mess you up. There's like a poker chip that always falls down on all the platforms, even though there's limited platforms. still trying to find ways to mess you up. And then the final form he has, it's actually not too challenging. I'll admit, this isn't too challenging. You just have to jump and try and parry on the tiers, I think you have to do. But, it's still decently challenging. But, there we go. Those are the top 5 hardest bosses in Cuphead. So yeah, that was top 5 hardest bosses in Cuphead. Well, my opinion, which is not a very good opinion. But apart from that, I hope you guys did enjoy that video. If you did, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe for more daily content. Anyway, I'll see you guys later, and as always, peace.